The new Asus Zenbook 14 OLED looks pretty similar with its older iteration, but this particular lightweight device has something more than meets the eye. Let's check it out! Hello and welcome back again to Junkyard Summit, and today we are taking a closer look on the Asus Zenbook 14 OLED and moreover on how would Intel's latest Meteor Lake SoC architecture would perform. But before we dive into performance numbers, let us take a quick glimpse on its actual design and as well as appearance. The Zenbook 14 OLED is one of Asus' lightest laptop, weighing in only at 1.2 kilos, which matters a lot if you lug it with you all the time. I did bring this with me during Computex last June, and I would say that it offered much comfort as compared to my G14 which I had last year. I was able to carry this all day as I venture around the show floor for 4 days straight. Its minimal footprint and all-metal finish also worked to my advantage as I was managed to bring most of my gears with me on a single bag without any worries on damaging it. As mentioned a while ago, the actual design shares similarity with previous generation with its huge A logo on its lid. It still looks great, but not so much if you have oily hands as it gets smudged easily. Over the past years, Asus has been more focused on the creative industry, hence most of their mainstream laptops including this Zenbook offers like a good out-of-the-box display. Its 3K 120Hz OLED display is capable of producing 100% sRGB, 95% Adobe RGB, and 100% P3, covering a good range within the color spectrum. Brightness is decent enough at 409 nits at SDR and 424 nits at HDR, but still a bit far from their advertised 600 nits. Its bottom-firing speaker has a good clarity too, but bass is a little weak, but I doubt that it matters to a lot of users. So this is the webcam of the Zenbook 14 OLED. Nothing too fancy, just a regular 1080p webcam, and works great for video conferencing. Connectivity is surprisingly ample given how thin this laptop is. We got 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports over at the right side that is also capable of display and power delivery, an audio jack, and a full-size HDMI port is also available on this side. Over at the left area, we got 1 Gen 2 Type A port and additional vents for exhaust. The Zenbook 14 OLED features Intel's latest x86 architecture with the Core Ultra 7 155H processor. It has 6 P-cores with hyper-threading, 8 E-cores, and 2 low-power E-cores. This generation also features the updated Intel Arc graphics for its integrated graphics with 8 cores in total. This model that I have also features 16 gigs of DDR5 and a terabyte of Gen 4 NVMe. Price is actually competitive at 70,000 Philippine peso, while a cheaper Core Ultra 5 version is also available for 6,000 Philippine peso less, which is actually a better deal if you want a thin and light laptop but without sacrificing too much on performance. As for actual performance, the Intel Core Ultra 7 155H sits between around their 13th gen laptop CPUs and AMD's current Ryzen 8000 CPU, while being more efficient as compared to the previous generation. And while the integrated graphics is still a little bit behind as compared to AMD's RDNA graphics, it is still a step up from their previous integrated GPU, and you can actually play casual esports games such as Valorant without any hiccups and could decently run other game titles if it supports AI enhanced upscaling like XeSS or AMD's FSR. And for those who are still not aware, Intel's Core Ultra CPUs also features an NPU, so this Zenbook also has an AI moniker to it. So hello, welcome to the AI world. But I wouldn't dwell on too much on AI performance as currently there's like a very little real-world application where it uses like a lot of AI, and its 11 teraops throughput is barely effective in any AI heavy operations. One of the things that I really like with this laptop is its battery life. This Zenbook was able to last for around 8 hours and a half with its 75 watt-hour battery with standard YouTube playback at 50% brightness and 50% volume on a balanced preset. It's actually quite surprising given that a 3K OLED display is not the best when it comes to battery efficiency. And if I'm gonna compare this Zenbook to the previous laptops that I tested, I actually had longer time with this laptop. As I mentioned that I had this with me way back at Computex, and While I love the portability and battery life that this Zenbook offers, I am somewhat not a fan of its keyboard. It has actually a good tactility and a good layout on a 14-inch, but I find myself mistyping a bit due to its lighter actuation as compared to other laptops that I tested before. But that could be only me, as I normally like heavier switches when using a keyboard. Trackpad is great. It has a smooth surface for easier navigation, and while not wide enough as compared to Macs, it is still big enough that I could comfortably use it even without a mouse. Thermals might not be the best on paper, but I highly doubt that you'll be running extensive computational tasks on this machine, and what's better is you can barely feel any heat within the keyboard area. So despite peaking at 100 degrees Celsius, you'll still have an easy time using this laptop. Noise, on the other hand, is also on the tolerable side, and there are no audible high pitch or coil whine sound, so it gets extra points on my end. As for my verdict, besides my slight dislike with the keyboard and unfortunately the soldered RAM, the Zenbook 14 OLED is a fantastic computing machine that you can carry around. We are at a point wherein we can fit powerful components including Intel's latest Core Ultra CPUs on a thin and light form factor with barely any performance loss, and at the same time, it could even last an entire work shift. Price is also very competitive at 70,000 Philippine peso given the current situation of high inflation rate and weak local currency. And if there's one thing that I would like to change on this laptop, maybe change the memory configuration from 16 gig to 32 gig, as first, it is not upgradable, and secondly, we are at a point where 16 gig gets saturated even on simple tasks. So that's it for today. What are your thoughts on the Asus Zenbook 14 OLED? Comment it down below, and if you like this video, go hit that like button. Also, do subscribe to my channel for more laptop reviews like this one. Once again, this is Brain of Junkyard Summit. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.